Hi there folks, my name is Ben Shurg and I'm the inventor of the Hookset Tip-Up. This year marks the third year that the Hookset Tip-Up has been in the hands of fishermen all across the United States and Canada, and bottom line, the results we're hearing are absolutely fantastic. You can realistically expect to catch somewhere between 85 to 95% of the fish that bite, whether you're going for walleye, northern, bass, salmon, brown trout, or any other predator fish species. When you're using the Hookset Tip-Up, flag up means fish on. In this video, I'm going to give you the nuts and bolts. I'm going to explain how and why the Hookset Tip-Up works, show you how simple it is to set up, and then I'm going to give you the answers to some common questions that we've been hearing over the last couple years. But before we get to that, take a look at some of this footage. The Hookset Tip-Up is extremely simple to set up. All you have to do is put your bait on the hook and lower it down into the hole as you would with any conventional tip-up. Here's the one extra step. Take the firing pin, push it down the slide, and engage it into any of the 3 hook setting notches, then set your flag. When the fish strikes, that pin is going to move back out of the slide, and the spring will decompress, pulling straight up on the line and setting the hook firmly into the mouth of the fish. When you see this flag up, run over to your tip-up, grab the line, and pull in your fish. It's that simple. The Hookset Tip-Up is a very simple mechanism meant to emulate what you can do when you have a fishing rod in your hands. We all know that the best time to set the hook on a fish is when it first strikes and that line is tight, but there is no other tip-up on the market that is able to do that for you. The Hookset Tip-Up does just that. Folks, there's 3 things we know for sure when this mechanism triggers. Number 1, the fish definitely has the bait in its mouth. Number 2, the line is perfectly tight. And number 3, the fish is swimming directly away from the force of the pull. That is the optimum time to set the hook, and that's why we're seeing such high hookup rates. Not only are we seeing those high hookup rates, but the immediate hook setting action is hooking the fish typically right in the corner or right in the top of the mouth, preventing gullet and gill hooks that injure fish that you want to release. Hookset Tip-Up. Flag up, fish on. As with any product, knowing how to use it properly is going to yield the best results. When using the Hookset Tip-Up, individual situations might require slight differences in how you set it up. What I'd like to do is go over some of those situations for you now to make sure you have the best possible results on the ice. Put on a large bait, sometimes it's going to swim in circles and take out line. If you don't know how to fix this problem, the bait can get down into the weeds and lessen your chances of getting a strike. There is a very simple solution to this. All you do is put your bait down into the hole and then put a slight tilt to the main rod of this tip-up. What that does is creates a natural low point for this line guide, which won't allow the bait to take out any more line. So when using large baits, simply put a slight tilt and you won't have any problems all day long. Thick ice can also cause a similar situation to large baits. When your line is going down into your hole, the slight outward angle of that line is what allows this mechanism to trigger. But if you imagine a situation where there's 2 or 3 feet of ice, the amount of angle on that line is lessened. So again, the same solution applies. Simply put a tilt to the rod, allowing the line guide to reach a low point, thereby creating more of an angle for you on the line and allowing your tip up to trigger properly. Now, I've received the question from a number of people, does this tip up freeze up when you're out in cold temperatures? The answer is it can, but it's also very simple to prevent it from freezing up if you know what you're doing. Our first recommendation is to get yourself one of the Hookset Tip Up whole cover tip up lifts. These are available on our website at www.hooksettipUp.com. What you do to use these is drill your hole, leave the slush around the hole, simply center the tip up whole cover and tip up lift over the hole, push down. Now what that does is it creates an imprint the exact size of the hole cover that you can then put this into the hole and it stays insulated, preventing the ice from forming. Now for those of you that don't have the hole cover tip up lift, what I also recommend you do is leave this slush here. Now the one spot that you can have problems with ice up on this tip up is this black bushing near the reel. Now as you lower this down into the hole, what you want to make sure to do is keep that black bushing somewhere in the neighborhood of 1 to 2 inches above the water line. By doing that, what you're allowing the ice to do is form on top of the hole, but not impede the operation of the tip up because the water does not get up into that bushing. If you were to clear all the slush away and put the tip up right on the ice, typically that bushing is at or below the water line, which invites water up into the bushing, and on extremely cold days, it can freeze and cause a little bit of problem for you. Now after this mechanism triggers, what I always do is simply breathe on this bushing, much like warming your hands, to make sure that any water that did get up in there doesn't form ice. Simply go like this, make sure it's freely spinning, and put it back down into the hole. When you do go around to check your holes and clear out the ice, what I highly recommend is that you don't grab this mechanism and release it. All you need to do to make sure this tip up is ice-free and freely operating is put downward pressure, turn, and feel that upward movement. That upward movement tells you that the spring is ready to go when the fish bites. Now when you go around and check your tip ups, what you will notice is a small amount of ice is going to form on that main rod where the rod is in the water. Simply break that off to make sure that it doesn't impede the operation of the tip up and put it back into the water. Some of you are probably asking yourselves, why should I spend the money to buy a new tip-up when the ones I have already are working just fine? Well, here's what I'll tell you. When you use your conventional tip-ups, you are going to catch somewhere between 33 and 50% of the fish that bite. If you truly keep track of every flag, you know as well as I do that part of the time you get over to a flag that's up and the fish is already gone. Some of them drop the bait when you pick up the tip-up. That tip-up has done nothing for you to keep that fish there. The Hookset Tip Up does something for you. By setting the hook immediately when the fish strikes, it hooks the fish firmly in the corner of the mouth and gives you the chance to catch virtually every fish that bites. Again, folks, Hookset Tip Up. Flag up, fish on. Well, there you have it, folks. Proof positive that the Hookset Tip Up can and will help you catch more fish. Here's my challenge to you. Get yourself a Hookset Tip Up and get it out on the ice. You will soon see that this tip up will increase your catch percentages 2 to 3 times over what you have ever been able to achieve with any other tip up. You'll soon be a firm believer in what I say. Hookset Tip Up, flag up, fish on. I'm Ben Sherg. Good luck on the ice. They work great.